Hello, Sam.
Hi, Christian.
What's been your favorite event at this co-living residency?
My favorite event was honestly probably the acting workshop that we did last night. Bringing a bit of like drama and sort of ritual performance. It had a way of like lightening people up and encouraging to sort of see each other from different angles than we might normally. So it was so much fun.
Some of those scenes were hilarious. Seeing the guys like actually fully get into an emotion or a drama bit, it was, and the ladies, it was great. I actually felt high doing our acting workshop last night, and I was completely sober. So I think there's something there for the future of residencies, is this sense of drama, play, acting as a way of bonding. I actually think a lot of people in the spiritual community, they try to replicate that with like healing spaces of emotional sharing, but actually just playing and acting and doing things like that felt so generative and so cathartic for me. I like that too.
So bringing in some embodiment allows us to essentially drop into a group flow state.
Yeah.
There's a book called Group Genius which writes about this beautifully. It's like essentially this state of being which is about playfulness and spontaneity. It allows us to connect at a deeper level and then sort of find these synergetic force multipliers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people talk about playfulness as like a value and a virtue, but how do we actually create containers where we can be truly playful with each other? To like fully play. I think that's hard. I can do it in sports, but in terms of emotion, drama, acting, I've never found that until Lucas hosted that container. Have you found any other containers where people can like fully play?
Yeah, I think it takes skilled facilitation. Play is one of the most fragile states of being. So if we get really hungry or thirsty or insecure or anything like that, we find it very difficult to play. So I think what helps people to get into that state of being is being really comfortable to be themselves. And that's about the environment that we create for people. Do they feel really comfortable to just be who they are, to be with some of their insecurities? It's when we can allow people to be foolish and be messy and not need to be perfect. This is when people feel safe, feel comfortable to be playful.
I almost think of it as creating a culture of cringe maxing. How do we allow for the cringe to exist? I think about this with content a lot, actually, creating content. And I gave you this advice. I give everyone this advice who wants to get into making content, is make a secret account and let yourself be cringy. Let yourself be raw. Because that's, how are you going to find your highest expression if you don't allow all of your expression and then refine it? And it's the same thing with dance. I think when I think about play, I always think about when I started learning contact improv, which is like a free form style of dance with a partner. And I had to go ask this lady that I really wanted to dance with, and I was like, can we just be really awkward together? And it was so funny, and it actually brought up so much like courage and awkwardness and doubts, but it was so cathartic and releasing to just be awkward, learning how to dance. And we would do that every single time I went to ecstatic dance until I felt more comfortable, like in contact improv. So yeah, I think dance, theater, and martial arts are great opportunities to learn play, especially when I teach someone how to spar. And that's another good opportunity as well.
I was talking about this last night with my collaborator, Aiden. We were trying to work out like what is the common thread through all this ecology of practices that we've been teaching and sharing with each other. And it's basically that each of these different practices, whether it be through relationship, like through dialogue, or through acting, or through like martial arts, or through practices like intuitive singing, these are all different ways of essentially ironing out the wrinkles within us. So it's like permission in different ways to be physically foolish, to be foolish in our voices, to be a bit awkward in all these different ways. It basically helps us to iron out our rough spots and basically develop together. This is why it's about holistic self-mastery.
Yeah. I really love when someone has the energy. I don't quite know what the quality is, but that really allows someone to just come out because maybe they're unjudging and you really sense that. And how do we create those spaces? I've noticed that in our residencies here, we've had a couple people comment that they feel really safe to be beginners at movement, at drama, at content, at things. Do you think there's anything in particular that lets people feel safe as beginners?
Yeah, I think these practices definitely help. But I think it's really people who've done the work. You know, you've spoken about how you spent years doing inner work of different kinds, working on yourself to be able to hold space in the way that you are. So we're talking here about leadership capacity. It's a way that you can drop deeply into yourself, out of your ego and into just your being, your essence, that basically gives other people permission to be who they are, right? So it's the kind of competition which allows us to strive together rather than the kind of competition that breeds conflict.
I remember maybe 5 years ago, I was playing Ultimate Frisbee, and the best Ultimate Frisbee player on the field was a very like hard guy. He was very competitive, and whenever he would throw me the Frisbee, I always like got really like scared that I would drop it because I knew like he would be mad at me. And I wasn't as good as him. I was just learning how to play Ultimate Frisbee. And I remember I went to that Ultimate Frisbee match for an entire summer, and I never once felt free until he wasn't there. And when someone else who was the leader, his name, like Will, let's call him Will, he was very like gregarious, funny, playful guy, cracking jokes on the sideline, but he was extremely good at Ultimate Frisbee. And when he would throw me the Frisbee, I would just be laughing because if I dropped it, he would just it goes right over him. And I think it's interesting because in the zodiac, if we look at astrology, the leader is Leo. And what is the quality of Leo other than arrogance and majesty? It's playfulness. It's the playfulness of a lion. And I think like as we get into positions of leadership and there's more stress, there's the weight of bigger decisions. I think about that now is like now I'm making decisions for a dozen odd people and there's a lot more stress in the business and different things going on. I think increasing the capacity to play while being under load is perhaps the most important quality of a leader, is the capacity to be free while under load. Because it allows other people around you to also be more free while they take on more and more responsibility. Because I look at like a corporate structure, and this is exactly what doesn't happen. Is there like the higher you get in a hedge fund, for instance, the more serious it is, the more hard you have to be, and I think that creates that crust that people are so reactive to and resistant about like the corporate world and executives and things, is this crust around their soul. It's like, where's your soul, brother? Can your soul shine while you're in positions of authority? I think that is one of the hardest dances in the world. I just actually talked to this ex-CFO executive angel investor lady, and she's starting an adult summer camp specifically for this problem. I actually used some of her language about the crust of these executives because she wants to create spaces that are healing for the inner child and especially for executives. So adult summer camp. I love it. I really want to go to adult summer camp. I think that would be a blast. Yeah, I think there's something here about one of my passions is really working with people who are still in their 20s. You know, people who are not so infected by the way that like corporate culture sort of dehumanizes these people. And there's a lot of valuable work for people to sort of catch up and remember that they have a soul and then work on its development. But if we can like bring people into these transformative spaces where they can be in highly aligned teams that are working toward like really definable real world goals at the same time as being playful, then we don't have to play catch up later. Yeah, there's a lot there though when it comes to actually building teams around definite goals. It gets even harder because that can't really, it's harder to make that a service because building teams you have to be very discerning on how you and who you build a team with. But I agree, I love working with late teens, 20-year-olds, although I think everyone can awaken the inner child and slough off some of the crust around them. So tell me more about this residency that you're setting up in Italy.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a 2-month project and it's basically like the venue is amazing. It's got a pool, it's got a recording studio where we can do podcasts every day. It's got facilities for us to practice. And so this is what me and a couple of other collaborators who are adjacent to Retribalize, we're putting together basically a program of practices for, again, what I call holistic self-mastery. So it's for people who are creatives and entrepreneurs, people who want to strive together, but also for people who want to drop in deeply, practice martial arts and embodiment, practice techniques like breath work and meditation, but also be in playfulness together to try new things, to try acting workshops, to try intuitive singing practices, so to try different kinds of ritual or ceremonial spaces. It's a place to really remember the core of what our humanity is and then build from that place. And I think there's this quality of curiosity and learning. It's not just about playfulness, it's about being open to the mystery. Not wanting to put too strong of a container around it, we're wanting to be open to see what emerges among the group of people over this 2-month period. So it's an experimental space.
I'm really excited to have Sam as kind of becoming a partner on Retribalize, because he's so interested in this ecology of practices that I think are going to become increasingly and extraordinarily useful to people who follow in your footsteps of finding these amazing spaces in the world to create co-living houses, using our network that we're constantly running ads for and building to bring people into that network and to create and start kind of letting that shake out as who's in your community. As we build these communities, I think having like definite practices and systems of how do we create more playfulness, how do we create depth, how do we create bonding is very important. What are you most excited for at the residency?
What I'm most excited for is the depth of the connections and seeing what we can create together that is actually impossible to predict. So the thing about practicing in this way is that it's toward excellence. We're trying to create some kind of wisdom school or neo-monastery down the track where the whole point of these practices is that they develop virtues within us. And the thing about aiming toward excellence is that it allows us to actually be creative together. When we can be virtuous, then we unlock these synergies that are sort of more than the sum of the parts, if you know what I mean.
I love that value of aiming at excellence. I'd say that's very, very core for me. What would you say is the hardest part of getting one of these residencies going? What is the hard part here?
I think the hard part for me was firstly finding the place. So it really does require knowing the right people. And I think this is where the network that I already had and then the Retribalize network, they have so many people who actually have facilities, who have venues that are ready to go. What I already had was people that are ready to fill that venue.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, for everyone out there, like this part, I probably have 20 people in the Retribalize Academy right now with amazing venues who are ready to go, who actively want to build awesome co-living spaces and communities. I talk to a landowner like this every single week. If you're someone like Sam who could bring in a network or who is actively learning how to build a network, you can partner with some of these spaces. And I've already given Sam like multiple different opportunities of, hey, you can go here for free if you help them build a community or other places. So connecting with the right landowner is very important. And then finding people who actually want to go there. Okay, that's the other hard part. The third hard part is, what do you think a danger is or a hard part at the co-living house itself, when you get to the space?
Yeah, I think one of the dangers is becoming distracted or misaligned. So again, this quality is, it's important to really know what you want. And so we're talking about these different, again, they're virtues like excellence, creativity, playfulness, and wisdom. But it's when they all align together that we can get toward building, generating, creating new culture, new forms of consciousness. That's what's inspiring me. It's connecting with God, connecting with the divine or sacred in a new way. So when I can keep aligned with that, that's when I think I can avoid these distractions that always come up in community spaces.
Yeah, I think, the same thing for me is like staying focused on my work, on my close relationships and my spiritual practice, but then also engaging in community. I think for a lot of people who don't live in community, all of a sudden you get into a space like this and all you want to do is connect, when also staying focused is also kind of a balancing point.
Yeah, and so on staying focused.
One second, I gotta check the time because I have a call here.
Yeah.
I forgot about. Oh, we got a little bit of time. Okay. Great. My mic's about to die too, so you have like 5 more minutes. Yeah. And on staying focused, you're gonna say?
Yeah, so on staying focused, there's this quality. I've just been reading a book called Mastery by George Leonard. It's a really famous book in this kind of field. And it's a way of essentially making sure that the way that you do everything is the way that you do one thing. So walking a path of mastery. And this is about like doing each thing really well, because each of them is an incremental step towards the fulfillment of a larger vision, the kind of vision that takes decades or even lifetimes to fulfill. So I'm talking about the fundamental way that I approach this residency program is in the context of a much larger vision. And it's when I can keep aligned with that much larger vision that I think it will be successful.
Yeah. A lot of people have said this line to me: how you do anything is how you'll do everything. On one level, on the ground level, I actually don't agree to some point. Is my room's usually a mess, yet I kick ass on writing and building things that are important to me. So I actually think it's actually a prioritization problem that most people struggle with. Because I've worked with so many creators that are completely focused on their pre-creative rituals of how do they meditate in excellence, and then journal in excellence, and then make their coffee in excellence, and then breathe with sunlight in excellence, and then do their creative craft, when I've already done 3 hours of writing. By the time they sit down to do their thing, and then they're already tired to like go do the thing. So I actually think prioritization might come first, and then expanding your reserves of excellence from there. And perhaps that is aligned with staying focused. Is like, if we're just being excellent on doing details, we might be missing the leverage point here. I don't know. Maybe that's why nothing ever happens for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think the path of mastery, it requires multiple virtues. And I think this kind of person that you're describing, they're understanding the importance of details and attention to them, but they're misunderstanding the power of intentionality and manifestation toward that intentionality. You have to know what you want and then strive for it day after day.
And I think now my intention actually in France was to keep my room clean. I cleaned my room this morning, everyone. I'm proud to announce it. The room has been cleaned. So we're slowly working on things. Very good. What is final question for Sam. Who would you love to build with?
I would love to build with people who I think express qualities like generosity and kindness. With people who I feel are aligned with the same vision, who have the same situational awareness of the situation that we're in the world, but also people who have genuinely other pieces of the puzzle. People who know stuff that I don't know, that I can work creatively with. I think this is what I'm really looking for.
And having great conversations.
Absolutely.
He's a conversationalist.
Goes without saying.
Yeah. If people want to come join you in Italy or find you on social media, there's a link down below to his project on Retribalize. Come join his residencies running this fall. And he's going to be running residencies probably in Portugal after that, before relinking back up with us somewhere in the world. And then you can follow him on social media. Thanks for a short interview, Sam.
Thanks so much.
Let's do another one. Sweet. Perfect. That will be perfect for the YouTube channel. Thanks for doing it.